Well, all right. Welcome back, everybody. We are now in my live stream with Lie in My Heart. Welcome back, Sarah, honey. How are you? I'm glad to have you back. I don't know who all we have here. I show 5 people here for this visual novel, Lie in My Heart. The question is, guys, is this game going to make me cry? I think a lot of you guys know that I do have a tender, sensitive, too big of a heart. We'll find out if Lie in My Heart is going to make me cry. It is based on real events. It was inspired by a man who went through these events of his wife committing suicide and having to tell his young son, that mom's not going to be around anymore. So, anytime you get a visual novel with involving kids, especially, it tends to be a really sensitive area for me. And I think any of you guys out there as well that have kids yourself, this one might be an emotional visual novel for you, especially if you hear my voice breaking and cracking and hear me, losing it. So we're going to find out, guys, if Lie in My Heart is any good, if it's worthy of the hype so far on Steam, and I can hear the heartbeat for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into a new game, guys. Oh, yep. Let me add Sarah as a moderator because she had to use a different name. She lost her old one or something. Give me just a second here. Okay. In Lie in My Heart, some choices players make are inspired by what I went through. Some of those some are those that I could have made. Now it's your turn to find out if you will take all the same path that I did. In any case, I didn't read it all, but that was a real picture of the real kid, I do believe. I was so worried since yesterday, after she had called me in tears to put Theo in my care, with no further explanation. So this is obviously his wife or his ex-wife. She's crying. She puts my kid in my care. September 6, 2017, 11 a.m. This is probably the actual dates that everything happened to. Left, aching in my mind. That was one of Theo's first days at his new school, and Marie was supposed to go get him after school at the daycare center, but I didn't know if she was able to do so. When I arrived, her car was parked and all the shutters were closed. The day before, she promised to her parents to go see a doctor. Okay. So we can look at the car here. The engine was cold. Marie does not seem to have gone anywhere. I wonder if she really has seen a doctor. Well, let's knock on the door. Is she still in bed? What am I thinking? What to do with Theo? Did she go to the doctor? I'm worried about her. Well, I mean, if I've just split up with her, been married to her, I think I'm going to care about her, and I'm going to care if she went to see a doctor. But I think my primary concern is going to be my kid. So what to do with Theo? So my name is obviously Sebastian in this. Marie, I'm here to discuss what we're doing with Theo. Are you going to go get him, or do I have to? Marie? There she is. She's in the dark. It's Thursday. You are the one who has custody today. And my parents gave you Theo's clothes yesterday. You have everything you need. I'm busy. Leave me alone. It's kind of her attitude. I'm at my wit's end. She's wrong. It's only Wednesday today. Oh, she just told me it's Thursday. What think you guys are going to see with these visual novels? Sometimes I will add different words, or if I read something a certain way, I'm going to read it the way I see it. So if you guys are wondering why I'm adding extra words in or whatever, that's why. I'm just kind of letting you guys know what I'm thinking anyway with how it goes. So it's only Wednesday. She told me it was Thursday. It's her day with Theo. I mean, I don't have a problem going to get him. It's my kid, right? But anyway, She doesn't seem in her right mind. I don't know if I can leave Theo to her while she's like this. On the other hand, the daycare center could give me trouble. I'm not supposed to be the one picking him up today. I'm picking up Theo today, even if I'm not supposed to, or she's supposed to pick up Theo, so I need to talk her into doing just that. Well, what are you guys thinking here, the people that are here? Oh, you're welcome, Sarah. What are you guys thinking here? I'm thinking, no, if she's not in her right mind, I don't even want her going and picking up Theo. I'll deal with the daycare center. I'm going to get my kid, you know, because I don't want her going and getting him if she's all whatever she's doing, drugs or whatever. I mean, ultimately we know what's going to happen at some point, but you know, just going based on what I know now, she's not seeming in her right mind. She's got herself walled up in the house and all the shutters closed. Something's wrong. I'm probably going to be thinking she's... Honestly, if we just split up, I'm just being honest, guys, if we just split up and she's walled up in her house and she has all the shutters closed, probably my first thought is going to be that she's sleeping with somebody in there. Like, she's got another man in the house and she doesn't want anybody to see. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying as a guy that just split up with his wife, it doesn't say how long we've been split up or anything like that, but I'm gonna think she has some guy in there, but I don't know. You'd be thinking she's a bitch to you. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm gonna be like going to get Theo for sure. I wonder if this is going to like be the same actions he took or whatever, if it's going to tell us. Marie, today's Wednesday. I can pick up Theo today, but you need to call his school and the daycare center. They'll expect you to be coming today to pick him up. She answers, oh, today's Wednesday? That's weird. Well, I might go. It depends on whether I have finished what I'm doing. What? Now, at this point, I'm going to be thinking, yeah, who are you doing at this point? What guy is more important than your kid? That's probably what I'm going to be thinking. And whether I finished what I'm doing, I'd be like, bitch, who the fuck are you doing in there and who's more important than your son? No, whatever it is, whether it's a guy or whatever she's doing, like, what's more important than her son, right? Is she for real? That's probably going to be, yeah, I might be like, what the fuck, bitch? She's completely out of it. I need to bring her to the doctor, or I need to take it easy and try to calm her down. No, fuck that. I'm not trying to calm her down. I don't give a fuck about her. I'm pissed. I'm not going to be taking her to the doctor either, guys. I'm being realistic here. I'm pissed. Is she for real? And just like Sarah said last, she'd be thinking she's a bitch to you. Yeah. I think I'd be pissed, guys. So I'm going to answer this honestly how I'd feel. I'm going to put myself in this guy's situation. We can't continue like that anymore. I'm going to call my lawyer to make him change the custody agreement. You're not yourself anymore. How long do you plan to stay in front of my house? Let me be. And how do we organize our schedules for other days? We're supposed to have Theo, or you were supposed to have Theo during the weekend. Is he staying with me? It's silly to yell through the door like this. Just let me in so we can fucking talk, bitch. No, I probably wouldn't say bitch, but... And she's like, you better calm down and wait for me to come and get you. What? She's telling me to calm down? It's our kid we're talking about. Well, it's already starting off getting me pissed off. I'm getting into it, I can say that. How is it possible to be that volatile? I never know how to deal with her. Yesterday, she told me in tears that she loved me when she gave me Theo, even though it's been 1.5 years since she last told me that. That's kind of weird. And now, this morning, she's overly aggressive. Maybe she's resenting me for calling her parents and having them visit her yesterday evening. And now, she's making me wait for nothing. We need to take a decision on what we're doing with Theo. I think that means make. So I think he means make. We need to make a decision on what we're doing with Theo. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to be banging on the door again. Just a moment. Oh, shit! What the fuck? She just screamed like she already committed suicide? Okay, I'm gonna call for help. Move away, call for help. I clicked that just in time. There was a timer on that. Good morning. How can we help you? Good morning. I think my ex-wife is having a mental breakdown and just heard her screaming and breaking things inside her house. She's already been sent several times to a psychiatric clinic for psychotic episodes. She's locked herself in her home, the shutters are closed, and I can't get in. I don't know what to do. Sir, it will be difficult for us to make her come with us. We can't force her to. She needs to come with us willingly. At least send someone to check on her, please. Very well, sir. We're sending someone there right now. Wow, this is getting good. All right. Okay, we got a detective here. Detective Michael Clements. Good morning. I'm Detective Clements. So you're the one who called the emergency hotline? Yes, I'm her ex-husband. I came to plan our son's custody with her. We were talking and suddenly I just heard her scream. I got scared. I took a step back and called the emergency hotline. I'm sorry, sir, but it's too late. She died very quickly. Oh, shit. We found her with a knife stabbed into her throat. Oh my god, what a way to go, huh? Just take a knife and jab it in your own throat? That's pretty brutal. She must not have liked herself very much. Shit. Considering the violent nature of her death, yeah, I'd say so. We must ask you to come with us. Oh, I'm going to be a suspect now because I was on her property. That's great. We need your statement as a witness for now. Both a forensic investigation and an autopsy will be conducted in order to determine the circumstances of the death. They're thinking that I'm probably a fucking suspect, like #1 suspect. Wait, you mean she killed herself? The investigation will tell us. Her place is a mess. So yeah, I'm like #1 suspect. You were locked out though? Yeah, it's true. We need to explore several possibilities to be sure there was nobody else involved with us. And I can imagine this guy looking at me like, you did it, huh? I can just imagine him giving me that look, like the suspicious look. I mean, technically I could have done it and then basically locked the doors and I could have shut all the shutters, you know? I mean, they don't know that I didn't, right? Until they do the investigation or whatever. I'm going to be a suspect, I guarantee you. Oh, she didn't leave a note either. So yeah, he's basically saying people that kill themselves, like, I know what he's saying here. This guy's saying that, like, 95, what are the odds? I don't even know what the odds are, but I guarantee the odds are most people that kill themselves leave some kind of a note or a video or a cassette tape or something. Most people that commit suicide leave some kind of goodbye. And he's saying she didn't leave a note. So no, she didn't kill herself, and he's probably giving me that eye, like, you son of a bitch, right? Considering the nature of the death, her screaming, and the noises preceded the fatal gesture. Oh shit. Our son! His mom was supposed to pick him up at the new school. Will I be able to go get him? I'm afraid it'll take a while. You're going to be staying with us until late tonight. You'll need to ask someone to go look after him. But no, nobody's available tonight. Marie's parents will be overwhelmed by sorrow. My mother is on holidays, and Theo's nanny too. You need to find a way. Then we'll go and pick him up. And I have a choice here. I want to pick Theo up. He will not be picked up by the goddamn cops. Or, better to say nothing and to try to find a way to cooperate. Wow. Okay, so sounds good, Sarah. I want to pick Theo up. He won't be picked up by the cops, or better to say nothing and try to find a way to cooperate. No, I think Theo is still going to be my #1 priority. I think I'm going to be like, look, I want to pick up my son. I don't want the police to pick up my son at his school, because that would be traumatizing as well. I mean, you think about the cops going and picking up your son. We already know from the Steam page that this kid's like 5 years old. So it's not like this kid's like 12 or 15 or something like that. He's not older. 5 years old, cops pick him up. He's going to be very, very traumatized. You know what I mean? All right. I want to pick him up when he leaves. Please settle down. I understand how you feel. We'll come with you then. And then we'll take your statement. I'm going to leave you a moment to find someone to look after him tonight. Alright, so now we got another guy here. Robert Gill. Hello, I'm a journalist for the local newspaper. I'd like to ask you some questions. It is said that you were having a violent argument concerning your son's custody just before people heard her scream. So now we got another guy fucking accusing me of killing my wife, or my ex, or whatever. This guy's trying to, get in my head here or whatever. Yeah, it said you were having a violent argument concerning your son's custody. I guess we were, but not like that. How can a journalist already be on the scene? Like, what the fuck? I will never answer his questions. He has nothing to do here. Or I'd better answer his questions quickly if I don't want him spreading rumors. I don't owe him a fucking answer to anything. Like, yeah, I don't... this guy can fuck off. I mean, I'm going with enough shit without answering questions from some damn journalist. There's nothing to see here. Who the fuck are you? I know your boss. Get out of here or I'm going to write to him. I have the right to gather information for my readers, even more so when it could be a murder case. Yeah, so this guy's basically saying I murdered my wife as well. I'm probably wanting to punch the guy. I'm just saying. Get the hell out of here and leave me alone, you fuck. I have nothing to tell you. I have nothing to tell to the likes of you. I don't know this son bitch no answers. Like, fuck this guy, right? That's what I'm saying. Now, who the hell are you? Get out of my face, bitch. Good morning. I'm Marie's neighbor. We are all very upset about what just happened. Look out. What the fuck is up with her face and her hair? I heard you talking with a detective. Theo knows me well. Her mom occasionally left him in my care when she was going out. I could pick him up and look after him tonight if you like. I'll tell him that his mom is out. I'll drive him to school tomorrow morning as well. You'll have to figure out what to tell him when you get him after school tomorrow afternoon, however. Well, thanks. That's a relief. I really didn't know what to do. So, cool. I guess. Alright. We need to go. Please follow us, sir. Alright. You're close to my path. 5 choices out of 6 were the choices he chose. That night, 1 a.m. Arriving somewhere, but not here. Okay. Here I am. That's me. It's gotta be. They interrogated me until midnight. I had to tell them about our whole life together. I had hoped for some kind of psychological support at the time. The policeman told me in a detached way that they were far from having enough money to afford that kind of staff. And as a matter of fact, they had just enough to offer me a cup of coffee. Nothing to eat, barely anything to drink. Wow. Keep him out there at the police station for hours and hours and hours, and the only thing they can offer you is a fucking cup of coffee? That's kind of shitty. At the end, I was so mentally exhausted that I was ready to tell them anything just to get the hell out of there. That night, I was staring at the mirror facing my bed, and a really weird feeling grabbed a hold of me. As a child, lying in my bed, I once saw a man-shaped shadow walking on the wall in front of me. I had that feeling that the shadow from the past would come now and drown me in my remorse. that Marie would come visit me tonight with our pains, our torments, my regrets. A feeling of emptiness and ruin took hold of me. Among the silence of death surrounded me all around. Wow. I wanted to chase each of these feelings away, thinking about all the good moments that we had shared. Look, you can kind of see the darkness around him. Look at his fucking mouth now. Thinking about all her qualities again. To get it together, I was thinking about the choices I made the day before, telling myself I tried my best, all things considered. Oh, there we go. At the time when the spirits of regret were getting a hold on me, before I could even realize it, another spirit had appeared. The cat just appeared. Look at him smiling at it. Most of the time, I called her my spirit of nature. She came to help me, fighting against the evil spirits that night. It reminded me of the day when she came in our home. So he's talking about their cat. Marie was so happy to take the stray under her wing. Meow. Aww. It's his wife, so he's remembering now. Look, sweetheart. A teeny cat came to lie on our sun lounger. Aw, the kitty's purring. And it's a female. Hey there, cutie. You basking in the sun? Better not touch her. She's probably looking for food. She's so adorable. Well, knowing myself, I'd probably be saying, look, she's just here for food. Maybe she's charming you to get some food out of you. She looks so skinny. She must not have an owner at all. Oh, we could get her something to eat, right? Yeah, so she can come again because she knows we'll feed her. You know that's how cats work. Oh, look at that smile, though. Look, she's coming towards you. I think she wants to come in. Look at my ex-wife working me. Look at her working me, guys. Look at that. Look at her eyes looking up at me. Look at that little smile. She's not smiling at me. She wants that damn pussy in the house. This woman of mine wants the damn pussycat in the house with me, and she's trying to sweet talk me and work me and use everything against me to get me to say, yes, we can keep the cat. That's how women work, man, I'm telling you. She wants me to feed her, and then bye-bye, I'm sure we'll never see her again. Oh, you're over-exaggerating. You heard her purring. She's looking for loving owners to look after her. Wait, no, you're not thinking we're gonna keep her here, Marie. But look at her. She looks like she's already, she looks like she already adopted us. Marie, I'm not so sure. First, we should see if she stays around or if she runs away at the first chance she gets. That's funny, she looks like she has socks on. The tips of her paws are white. Aww. Do you have any ideas what to name our surprise guest? Yeah, she's totally working me. She's saying, okay, well, let's think of a name for her. Because she knows that if I think of a name for her, I'm going to be like, you know, attached enough to keep her around. I'm telling you, man. These ladies and kids too, man. Kids too can learn how to work you. Well, there is a game I'm playing lately. It's called the Cat Lady. The woman in it named her favorite cat Teacup. It's a good cat name, right? And she said, isn't that the game where cats are the woman's only friends? That story's a bit dark. What if we named her White Socks? But honestly, if you like any other name better that makes you want to take her in, I'd be happy anyway. Okay, let's call her White Socks. I agree with that name. But Teacup is a cute cat in the Cat Lady. Or I have another idea. I'm probably going to stick with my own. I'm like, look, if you're getting your way with a cat coming in, I'm going to at least name her. I'm just saying. Well, the Cat Lady isn't that dark. The story really moved me. Plus, Teacup sounds more original than White Socks. All right, honey, I'm happy either way. All right, Teacup it is. Welcome, Teacup. All right. So here's Teacup. I'm still in my bed. I was just a memory. Teacup, as of today, your lady owner is no longer with us. Aww. Way to break a cat's heart, right? To us, Teacup was a little like a gift from nature. A gift brought to us by that place we lived in, Lovingly, where I grew up, and where we managed to come back and settle in after I had been away for more than 20 years. It was one of my dreams I shared with Marie to build together. I fell asleep on these thoughts. And now he's gonna have a dream. But a nightmare feeling way too real would soon keep me awake. I tried not to think about Theo all night long. Uh-oh. Okay. In that nightmarish reality, I found out the next morning that the local newspaper had dedicated half a page to the tragedy. Oh boy. They were disclosing Marie's name. They had taken photos of the front of the house, but the worst was in the paper's title. She dies from a knife stab to the throat. See, again, just like the other two people interrogating me, the detective and the journalist, now we have a newspaper article with a title that makes it sound like she's been murdered. It doesn't say, woman commits suicide, woman kills herself over custody battle or whatever. No, it says woman dies to a knife stab to the throat. That totally sounds like she's been murdered. And again, everybody reading this article is probably going to think, oh, ex-husband, number one suspect. Yeah, this is kind of triggering. The journalist, presumably thinking of himself as a failed thriller writer, was looking for sensationalism and spread doubt on the nature of her death. Murder or suicide, every lead is being investigated. He clearly seemed to have disliked my attitude from the day before. Her ex-husband was on the scene, dodging her questions. Uh-oh, that's going to make me look more suspicious. On top of that, multiple details regarding the investigation piled up, coming directly from the police captain in charge of it. He seemed like he was also looking for some recognition. Oh shit. While giving my statement at the police station, I didn't have the time to warn most of my friends or family about the tragedy, especially since they took away my phone that night to check its content. Our relatives learned about it by reading the newspaper. The neighbors and the people living in the neighboring towns too. Some of them even told their children about it. Oh shit. Those same kids that were shocked by the news will be gossiping about it for weeks on end. Because Marie was the head of the daycare center that was taking care of the children of the neighboring towns. And they all knew who she was. Oh man, this is a mess. Daycare center, huh? At school, the teacher was in tears having learned the news. She too had read it in all the newspapers. And he's going to pick up his kid. Luckily, children around Theo's age were too young to discuss it in the classroom. Look at that sad face, though. Daddy! Oh, my little angel. Daddy, are we going home? Yes, we are, son. Daddy, did the policeman tell you that they were with you? Did they leave? Yes, they just helped me get my car after the engine broke, and they left afterwards, son. Oh, and Daddy, Mommy wasn't there to drop me to school in the morning. Ruth drove me there. What do I tell him? This poor little kid, he probably knows something's going on. He's like, where's Mom, Do I tell him your mom left on a journey very far away, or your mom was hanging out with friends? Well, I think that being the most direct and honest, even though he is only 5 years old, I don't feel like lying to him is going to be the best bet here. I mean, even though he is young, I think that you at least gotta give him a more truthful answer. So he's not gonna understand, but I'm gonna say your mom went on a journey very far away, son. Yes, Theo, we'll talk about it. Your mom had to leave very far away for a very long journey. But Daddy, you told me that Mommy was with her friends last night. Oops, did I? And Mom wasn't home in the morning. Oh no. Yes, Theo, that's because she decided to go far away, okay? But where did she go? Can we call her later? We'll send her a text, or her phone has no service. Oh man, this is heartbreaking. I think we're gonna try to tell him, or we're gonna send her a text, okay? She's in the train, you know. She won't be able to answer the phone, Theo. We'll just text her, okay? Okay, we'll text her as soon as we're home then? Yes, sweetheart. Let's hurry back home. Everybody's leaving now. Poor kid, man. Poor kid. That's sad. That night, I didn't muster the courage to tell anything to Theo. Even if there was some kind of truth in my first excuse, she was gone. We sent her a text and a reply, she'll never come. And I had to make up excuses all the time to cover for her absence. Man, that's not good. One night at dinner, I decided not to tell him that she would not. I decided to tell him that she would not come back. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here's the moment of truth right here, guys. But I didn't know if I needed to make up something in order to make the truth bearable for my son. Or if I needed to just be frank. And to what extent? Oh, man. This is stressful. Theo? Do you know what happens when people die? Damn. Yes, Daddy, they turn into stone. They turn into stone, huh? Yeah, in a way, Theo. Their bodies do change and then they disappear. But they lie in our hearts forever, they live through our memories, or their souls go up to heaven. I'm gonna say this one sounds better. They lie in our hearts forever. When someone passes away, Theo, they remain in living memory. That is why it's so important to remember those who are gone. The body vanishes, but the person lives on in our memories. Just like in the story of old Mr. Badger that you once, read to me. Oh, but he said that. Theo said that. He's like, just like the story you read about the Mr. Badger that you read to me. And I'm like, exactly. When Badger disappeared in that story, all of his friends got together to talk about him. Why are you telling me this, Daddy? I don't like Mr. Badger's story. I want a pirate story. Your mom died, or your mom won't come back. Ouch. I don't think we should be quite that. That sounds brutal. Your mom died. Man, this is tough. I'm fighting for an answer here, guys. Your mom won't come back, Theo. Theo, Daddy needs to tell you about something really bad that happened, okay? Your mom left us, and she won't come back from this journey that she's on. Why won't she? Son, she disappeared, just like Mr. Badger did in that story. Oh, man. He's gonna cry, yeah. Look at him. He knows. He knows. He knows. No, I don't want that. I want to go and see her now. Where she is, we cannot go. We can't go and see her, Theo. No, I don't want her to be gone. Why did she leave us? Daddy, I want my mommy. Your mom will always be with you, in your memories, son. She will lie in your heart forever, but you won't be able to see her anymore, son. Oh, I don't want that to happen, Daddy. Oh, man, this is heartbreaking. All I could say that day was that she was no longer from this world and that her heart had stopped beating. But I knew that I couldn't hold that version alone for long. Even more so considering all the gossips that were going around after the publication of that journalist's paper. He'll end up hearing about it one day or another, or from one of the kids or whatever, exactly. So better leave it like that for now. Poor kid. Moving out Marie's things was another hardship. I was thinking that the police would clean up the bloodstains and mess once they were done investigating the house. They told me that I had to take care of the cleaning. The financial cost of a cleaning service was shockingly high. Trying to reassure me, the policeman had told me that there wasn't too much to clean. I decided to go see for myself in order to know what I had to do next. Oh man, this is his room. Look at this, guys. This is his fucking room. And she killed herself, like, on his bed, or what? Marie had not left a note behind to explain why she had committed suicide. But she had taken her own life on Theo's bed. And that was no coincidence. Man, that's so messed up. That is messed up, man. I thought the whole bedroom would be covered in blood, but just as the cop had told me, there really wasn't that much around. Nothing like in a movie, after all. People don't care in the movies who's going to clean up the heroine's blood. With all the expenses related to Marie's death, the fee of a cleaning service might make Theo and I completely broke. I better clean it myself, but whatever the cost may be, I'd rather have someone else take care of it. No, I think I better clean it myself to make sure we have enough money for food and shit, right? All things considered, if I throw the bed away, there's almost nothing left. That's her blood. I have to muster the courage to clean it up. Damn. Okay. What are we doing here? That's the toy ship that Marie gave Theo. Aww. I know that they love to play pirates together. Aww, and he loves pirates, so I'm not sure if I should bring the toys back home. I don't see any blood on it. But it might constantly remind him that he lost his mother. It might be better for him to put all this behind him and just move on. And the toys were in his room. On the other hand, it might be a strong bond for Theo to remember what's left of his mother now. I'm thinking I better keep them. I'll get them back, and they represent intense moments to be shared with his mother. Moments I'll try to perpetuate with him, and then when we play together. Okay. Anything else I can click? Yep. Oh, it's the cat. Marie never had found a way to express her artistic self, and that had been tormenting her for a long time. That's why she was spending so much time meticulously crafting indoor decorations. Just like the little statue of Teacup that she made for Theo. Aww. That is cool. That's a statue. She loved making arts and crafts with the children. They reminded me that we fell in love working together at a holiday camp where we were shooting a movie with children. She had made the decorations we used, and I was directing the movie. I remember several of her creations. The doodle she was drawing in her notebook in high school, where we met. The numerous installations she made during her art classes at the university. And most of all, the painting she made when we moved in together, in which light was spurting out of the shadow. That's cool. Bright and shining paint strokes were exploding at its core, as if it were meant to say that light always prevails over darkness. That's pretty cool. I like that. I would really need that bright light in all of this darkness surrounding me right now. Okay. Well, it's not going to be that then. After we broke up, she missed Teacup a lot. I had stayed in her home in Loving, I don't know how you pronounce that, Lovingny, and Marie found this house in a nearby village. We had decided that Teacup would stay with me. Lovingny was her domain. I recall Marie tried and failed to tame another stray cat. In a way, she had tried to rebuild some of the habits we had when we were living together. Actually, she wasn't the one who chose to leave that life behind. But this time, it was her choice. Yeah? Alright, what am I clicking now? Ah, the hat. That's funny, the hat reminds me of the times we were taking strolls with Marie in the countryside near Lovingny, before we managed to move there. I often took her to see my childhood village. We would walk together in the fields, along the beautiful river. I was sharing with her my dream of coming back and living in Lovingly someday. Okay. I remember that beautiful day in August where we had walked 2 hours into the countryside. It was really a hot day when suddenly the wind started to blow as if it wanted to cool us off. It's a good thing, right? My hat, hurry, we need to catch it. Okay. Where's your hat at? 3, 2, I don't see it. Huh. My hat wanted to live here too. It's a real corner of paradise here. Hopefully someday it will be ours. I guess I accidentally clicked it. Okay. Moments like that are nice motivation to get myself to come back to the region. Some of my fondest memories happened here, my whole childhood before my father ruined it all by abandoning us. Whatever happens, I'd really love to get married here. Yes, honey, I know how you love this place. This sounds wonderful, and our marriage will be one of the best days of our life. And we will make tons of new and happy memories here that will add to your childhoods. And you'll be less homesick. But we'll need to redecorate the ballroom. It's so outdated. Everything and anything you want, my love. Shall we head back now? Oh, look at that smile. Happy, happy. 2 years later, that dream came to life. I had to transfer, and we were buying a house in Lovingly. Okay. Later that year, Marie got pregnant, and we got married. Oh, and in the meantime, to Marie's delight, the ballroom we had renovated, that didn't stop her from wanting to redecorate it anyway. Okay. To think that everything started to collapse in just a few months later. Oh, geez. That's not good. I think I've seen enough here. Let's not stay any longer. I'm starting to feel really uncomfortable right now. You strayed from my path. In that sequence, 3 choices out of 8 were the same as mine. Okay. 2015 to 2017, everything's blue in this world. I mean, the objective is not to choose the exact same choices he made, though, right? I mean, it's to make our own choices. But it's interesting to know how close we was to what he chose. In the fields bordering my childhood village, there was a tree that I used to photograph for years, at different stages of its life. In retrospect, it now reminds me of this Melanesian myth about a tree and a canoe. Oh yeah? Man is constantly torn between two needs. The canoe stands for the need to travel, to go out of your comfort zone, and the tree stands for your roots and our longing for a quiet life. Okay, I like that. Can understand that. Until the day when man realized that it was thanks to the tree that they had built the canoe after all. Okay. One day I realized the tree was sick. Taking a closer look at my photographs, I could have predicted what was to come during all these years. I already had seen it, but I never really paid attention to it. And in one day, the tree just vanished, the same month that Marie did. Oh, damn. The irony. Since we had met, Marie had faced several phases of depression. They were mostly linked to her anxiety at work, in jobs that didn't suit her qualification, or that just didn't make her happy at all. In high school, she was already suffering from pain spasmophilia. These started after she repeated the 11th grade. She was often torn between self-confidence issues and the feeling that she was a talented artist whose work wasn't given enough credit. It's understandable. But all of these episodes were just momentary, coming and going as winter gave way to spring. I like the spring. I think spring is I think winter could be pretty depressing. Fall, some parts of fall could be depressing. Wintertime could be really depressing, I think. But that's why I think my favorite season of all is spring. Life is, the trees are getting their new colors and it looks like the world's coming back to life. Like spring to me is life. Her anxiety worsened after she gave birth to Theo. What she was calling her dark thoughts would become more frequent, especially in relation to her work, her family, her friends, and even towards me sometimes. Until that very day when one of her coworkers brought her home in the middle of the day. Fortunately, I was working at home that day, and she didn't come back to an empty house. That's good, I guess. Okay. Colleague. Good afternoon. I'm bringing Marie back from work. Oh, good afternoon. Why is that? Is something wrong? Did something happen? She's not right in the head. Who does he think he is? What does he mean by that? What does he mean by that? What do you mean? She couldn't cross the road to the children. And she does not look like she's with us now. Anyways, I'm leaving her here in your care, okay? Hey, all right. Thanks for bringing her home, buddy. Marie? There you are. Oh my God, you do look depressed. You look like a zombie. You look like a zombie there, Marie. What the hell? I have the feeling that the woman standing in front of me is not Marie. I barely even recognize her. What's wrong, Marie? They're going to take her home from us, Sebastian. What do you mean by that? Why would someone take our house from us? I don't understand. What happened at work? If I get inspected, they're going to arrest me. The safety measures aren't met. Oh no. Wait, what are you talking about at work? They won't arrest you over something like that, Marie. And even if there are issues, your employer would be held responsible for it. You warned them many times that there could be problems. Really, it's nothing to worry about. People don't get arrested over missing cots or little things like that. Right? No, they're going to be taking her home from us, Sebastian. Oh boy. Divorce. What? What did you say? Look at her. They're going to be taking her home from us, Sebastian. Divorce. Oh, wow. What the hell? This is when she decided she wanted a divorce, huh? I'm going to kill myself. Whoa, so we already knew about it. We already knew that she was thinking about suicidal thoughts and we didn't do anything, or what the hell? Stop acting crazy. Don't say that. Think about Theo. I'm sure that it's not too serious. Please calm down and tell me what happened. Tell me what happened. Please calm down, okay, Marie? You can't lose your job just for something like that, especially considering you're not even in charge of it. And even if you do lose your job, nobody will take the house from us. I'm sure we're going to figure something out. Just calm down. Sit down, take a deep breath, and tell me what happened for you to panic out like this, okay? I have a feeling we're not going to get any answers here. The safety measures aren't met. They're taking our home from us, Sebastian. Oh man, it's messed up. Divorce. I'm going to kill myself. Why don't you tell me what happened for you to be this upset? Divorce. You'll both be better off without me. I'm sure we're gonna figure something out. Please come sit next to me, Marie. Let's talk about the nice things, okay? Like what we could do to change this topic. We could take a walk in the field so you could get a breather. The weather's so nice today. I'd like it if you left me alone for a bit, okay? Oh shit. This ain't good. Yeah, you're saying you're gonna kill yourself and you want me to leave you alone? Are you crazy? Listen, here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna call my mother and tell her to come get Theo right now. And we're going to call the doctor. We need to find a way to help you out through this. Okay? And she leaves. Of course she leaves. After I explained the situation to the doctor in a brief medical consultation, we decided Marie was going to be sent to the psychiatric hospital. Her first reaction was a total refusal to go, but I finally talked her into going, resting what was best for her, considering that Theo was still just a toddler. Man, it's crazy. After a few weeks of being monitored in the psychiatric clinic, the diagnosis came. Marie was bipolar with psychotic episodes. Sometimes she would show excessive self-confidence, and the next, Marie would show utter despair in life. From a benign incident, Marie would extrapolate disastrous consequences. She would give the little problems of daily life an excessive importance. She tried to find some rest by painting them when she was staying there. Okay. And then this is a painting. She drew herself holding Theo in her arms, surrounded by what she was calling her dark thoughts. Months before her last episode, Marie was already spending so much time writing obsessively about her anxiety and problems in her notebook. I thought it was her way of exercising everything that wasn't going well at work. Well, if that was leading her to neglect Theo and me. She, who was so kind and gentle, had become suspicious even of the people around her, sometimes even being aggressive towards her colleagues. Damn. But I couldn't imagine a single instant that other dark thoughts would be painted in that painting. It's kind of grim. There was one of her family, as yellow as the sun, she had painted as a child to represent her father. Okay, so the yellow one represents her father. Marie had sometimes clashed violently with her parents. When she was younger, she once had stopped visiting them for a year. At times, she would show her profound love for them, but sometimes she just felt they rejected her or looked down on her and didn't support her projects. Soon after Theo was born, she had told me she wanted to be less involved with my own family as well. She found my mother to be too intrusive. It has been the root of one of the few quarrels we had after 17 years in a relationship. It's a long time. But I was telling myself at the time that it was part of the tensions that existed in every family. Okay, the white one. Of course, one of her dark thoughts was centered on her anxiety towards work. She was a former activity leader at the daycare center and then was promoted to director not long ago, and it greatly changed the nature of her work. She was under a lot of pressure from her new responsibilities because small organizations like that suffered the lack of daily resources as well. Red as the roses of love, I was at the center of another of her dark thoughts. She was under the impression that she wasn't good enough for me, that she was holding me back in my career, or that she was just creating problems. The last dark thought she had was focused on her depression. As a side note, she had never accepted the doctor's diagnosis. She even forgot about it after her stay in the hospital. To her, above all, she was burned out from her working conditions. She was given a lifetime prescription to treat her illness. That treatment was making her sleep a lot when she started taking it. She was less responsive to the world, which made it even worse for her to accept her own condition. Okay, wow, it's a lot. All of these dark thoughts were making me think of a sickly flower bed. But one of them was even sicklier than the others. One of the flowers was growing to distill a poison that Marie wasn't aware of yet. It's up to you to guess which of these flowers of evil would grow bigger and faster than the others, eventually breaking us up. Wow. So now I have to pick which dark thought she had that would grow too big and cause problems with us and make us split up. Wow. Her family, Sebastian, depression, or her job? I'm going to say it's probably depression. Marie's condition improved progressively. She was taking her medication, even if that meant she wasn't totally herself anymore, and that she was reluctant to have that be the way for the rest of her life. Even if I cannot deny that episode impacted our relationship, her depression wasn't the main reason that we broke up. Okay. Could it be me? Considering you didn't guess in the first try, maybe you would have preferred that the main reason Marie and I broke up wasn't the author of these lines, and I thank you for your consideration. A story is always told from a biased point of view after all, and maybe I am not the most appropriate person to guide you into the tragic journey. Do you still trust me to discover the story? Well, of course. Thank you kindly, but I'm aware I'm biased in telling you the story of the tragedy to come. The thing is, you can't do anything but follow me there. So, I will give you the choice. You will now choose what caused Marie and I to break up, and the way that evil of flower is going to grow. I was able to go through that crisis calmly, and I took some distance from the whole situation because my mind and body were focused on someone else, someone I had met not too long ago. What? Her name was Lilith. She was a former student of mine. She had written to congratulate me for my new YouTube channel, and for my lectures as well, and also to share some content she liked and wanted me to check out. We connected right away, even if we were only having a written correspondence. We created a world of our own, built on the hobbies we shared, and every message we were sending made us dedicated to know more about each other. That sounds like he's having an affair. That written correspondence lasted for a month, and it enabled me to take a breather from the daily routine that had become the boring, punctuated by Marie's anxiety. I never had cheated on Marie. She had been my first love, and I never had loved anybody else. How does the love come to die? Was it really dead with Marie? The only thing I knew was that Lilith was gradually taking more space in my mind. That's not good. Then we decided to grab a drink together. I took the initiative, she took the initiative. What do I think? I'm gonna say she did. She confessed to me that she wanted us to meet, to talk more spontaneously of everything we were thrilled about in our correspondence. And why would I say no to that? I was very excited myself by the idea, and I felt that we were on the same wavelength. Our first meetup was intense from the start. I loved talking to her about my favorite movies, about the songs that I cared deeply about, and she revealed to me a world full of joy and originality, her passion for photography, and also the important place studies had taken in her life. We were both born in the same lower middle class families, our curriculum giving us some perspective for the future, both lacking in the presence of our dads when growing up. And of course, she knew I was married and that we had just had a baby, and soon enough I understood that she was in a relationship as well. But together we got the feeling that we were free. I kissed her or she kissed me. I'm gonna say he kissed her, but I don't know. Our first date, we had chosen a midsummer night. The weather was hot and dreamy. Late in the night, walking together, our hands had touched several times. After a long walk, we paused for a moment, and we looked into each other's eyes. Nothing else in the world existed. It was just the two of us. Okay, could this be the reason that his ex committed suicide? I mean, it doesn't sound like... I mean, who knows? We were drunk by each other's presence. So basically, he's falling in love with another woman. And I kissed her. Spontaneous, intense, thrilling. These were all the adjectives that described the scene perfectly. My head started to spin. Our hearts were pounding. And we were desiring each other. Yup. She doesn't want to go any further. We're taking a step further. If he's going through everything he's going through with his wife, and his wife, all these psychoanalysis, and depression and everything that she's going through, and it's causing a drift in their marriage, and then he meets a woman that he has all this in common with, and basically they're falling for each other, and then they kiss. I'm just gonna guess that they took a step further. It was already late, and we both had to get home. It was obvious neither of us wanted to put our relationships in jeopardy, but we agreed that we wanted to live that romance we had just started. We were seeing each other on a regular basis, discreetly, and as our relationship deepened, I grew further away from my wife, Marie. And after she was admitted into a clinic, I kept distancing myself from her, even though I really did care deeply for her. But what's care compared to passion? An idea was maturing in my head, and it was taking more and more space up. What if Lilith was really my true love? We were experiencing such a strong, vivid passion that when we weren't together, we were both suffering from the other one's absence. Once again, we were on the same wavelength. The same idea had made her way into her mind too. We also had talked for hours about the two of us growing up without a father figure in our life, and what could be the consequences of our romance on Theo. It was clear in my mind that I would never want to reproduce the same family model I knew as a child, growing up without my father who abandoned his children for the girl next door. But step by step, Lilith and I started imagining our future together. I decided to tell Marie everything. Uh-oh. After the shock of what I just told her had passed, her first reaction was to forgive me. But I already had made up my mind. He didn't want to be forgiven. After a sleepless night, on the day after, we went and we took a walk with Theo into the fields behind the village in order to talk about the whole situation. No, at least they're talking, right? The same fields were a few years back where we were still dreaming to come to Lovingly to build our own happy place here. It's kind of sad. Well, are you happy now? You have a healthy baby, you have a home in your childhood village, and you have everything you need to live happily ever after with your family. I would have loved to grow old together with you. And you chose to leave me. Once you got everything you ever wanted, you throw me away without even a thank you. Man, that's brutal. I wish I'm having a nightmare that I'll wake up soon enough, but the worst I could imagine has come true. Because I burned out at work and you didn't see a relationship in the same light anymore. I wish I'd never even met you. Why did we even get married? Why did we have a baby together if you're going to leave me now? Well, she's got a good point. What should I say to her? I'll always be there for the both of you? Don't say that. We used to be happy together, but now I don't want to have that kind of life. We used to be happy together is what I'm leaning to say here. Look, we were really happy together, and Theo will be living proof of that happiness, Marie. Oh, so happy that you're throwing me away without even looking back. Look, I'm not abandoning you two. You'll receive the alimony. I think I'll keep the house for Theo, even if it will be hard to make both ends meet. But what about me? You're putting me in such a tough situation. I'm only working part-time right now. What will become of me? I'll send you enough money. I'll send you money so you'll live decently. I want to live my life to the fullest, Sebastian. I don't want to have to depend on you to do that. I wouldn't have had any child with you if I'd known that I would have ended up like that. I remember us walking in these fields right here. The day we were dreaming about getting married in Lovingly. I can't say that town name. Even on that day, you didn't move an inch to catch my hat that had blown by the wind. Do you remember that day? Knowing that, how could you even tell me that you're going to take care of me? Anyways, I feel like you always did whatever, went through your own mind. Even when we chose our cat's name, I had no word in it. Oh, it's coming back to bite me now. How could everything change so much? Now that we made it so far, that we can finally enjoy a quiet life, you're breaking up with me for some girl, and a former student of yours at that. I'm sure you jumped on her just because our sex life isn't what it used to be at Theo's birth. It's only natural things take time to get back to the way they were, But you couldn't even resist. What about her? Doesn't she feel any kind of remorse doing that to a family, knowing that you have a newborn baby? Theo, Lilith's a whore. Repeat after mommy. Lilith is a whore. Man, that's messed up. She's telling their little kid, Repeat after me that his girlfriend is a whore. Repeat after me. Lilith's a whore. Lilith's a whore. That's fucked up. How dare you? Not in front of Theo? I'm going to say not in front of Theo. I'm going to try to remain calm here. Take the high road, right? Leave Theo out of it, Marie. We better talk about it, all of it when he sleeps now. How can he be left out of this? He's first in line. Yeah, she's got a point there, I guess. What's happening to us is awful, Sebastian. On the way back, Marie couldn't hold back the despair, the anger, and the rage that had built up in her. She jumped on me and she tried to hurt me. Thankfully, I managed to restrain her and calm her down a bit. Damn. Once most of her rage, the fit of rage had passed, we agreed that the best solution was for her to go back to the clinic in order for her to rationalize what I had told her. Meanwhile, I found her a little flat 5 minutes away from Lumley, where we could almost be neighbors. We had agreed that the most important thing was Theo's happiness at this point. That's good. And our relationship actually rapidly improved, and Marie and I were still very close. I was trying my best to support her. Even if it was hard at first, she progressively gained self-confidence and self-esteem, what she couldn't achieve when we were still a couple. And I was very proud of her. Well, that's great. In the meantime, my relationship with Lilith wasn't as tranquil as I had first thought. But could it have been any different? I found out that I wasn't the only one with whom she was having an affair with. Uh-oh. I was shocked to learn that she had been dating a friend that we had in common, and she had given me the excuse that she thought I'd never leave my wife for her. She begged me for forgiveness, and we decided to keep seeing each other. From that day onward, though, I was having trouble trusting her, even though she left her boyfriend as well. And what's a couple that doesn't trust each other? Our relationship has constantly been moving between the highest high and the lowest low. While I only had 2 or 3 major fights with Marie over 17 years together, I quarreled with Lilith almost every day. Oh, that's not good. And during that time, even though we started the divorce proceedings, Marie and I had a nice relationship. The judge who was in charge of our case even told us that she dreamed to only have cases like ours. All things considered, us breaking up didn't damage the friendship that we had. And it was obviously making Lilith very jealous, and it was adding to our quarrels even more. One day, Marie even invited me to celebrate my birthday. Okay. I had kept that evening from Lilith because she didn't understand why I wasn't keeping my distance from my Marie. But to me, it was essential to be there for her. I thought that it made things easier for her. And it was also for Theo's sake that his mother and I were still acting friendly towards each other. It looks like Theo is finally asleep. Yeah, and I think I'm going to do just the same. We just had a feast. I've had so much to drink, too. I'm happy that you liked it. I'm cooking less than I used to, and to be frank, I kind of miss it. I, on the other hand, really started to cook seriously, and I was fed up with eating poorly, and I'm taking a liking to it. These days, I only cook elaborate meals when someone I'd consider dating comes over. Oh, really? Well, how many men have shown interest in you? Oh, well, I gave up on the idea of replying to all the messages I received on that dating website. It's nearly impossible to get a follow-up on everything. But you know, a lot of unreliable men and others only looking for a one-night stand, and then poof, they're gone. 2 of them are really trying hard to get me, but one of them really is kind of my type, We only grabbed a drink together so far, but to be totally honest with you, it took me a lot of self-control when I first saw him. He's so good-looking that I'd have loved to have kissed him or even jumped on him. But he's the... You okay, Christian? But he's the archetype of the man with the silver tongue. He doesn't sound genuine in the least, just like a decade-long bachelor going all in now that he has found a real gem. I mean, his life looks like such a mess from the outside. He has been jobless for 2 years and doesn't seem too concerned about finding anything. The second isn't as attractive, but his life looks quieter. He's freshly divorced and has 2 kids. He's working in Luxembourg, and he has a house. But I don't know about him. He's not very good looking. What do you think I should do? Enjoy your life to the fullest, follow your desires? Let's not make things more complicated. I'm just going to tell her to be happy. Well, listen, we're both still young. We can still take it lightly and try things out. If you like the first that much, then run for it. If anything, you'd have had a good time. And if the second has been divorced, maybe he isn't looking for some kind of commitment right now. Yeah, that's true. You're probably right. Thanks, Sebastian, for being such a good listener. How are things on your end? It's okay. Some days are better than others. Well, at least we made the most of our 17 years together. But we were both each other's first love. That's something rare enough to be appreciated these days. I understand it now. Uh-huh. I think I drank too much. I should probably head to bed soon. Especially since Theo is going to wake me up at dawn tomorrow. Yeah, I'm starting to doze off too. In any case, thank you so much for that wonderful meal. I had a great time. You're welcome. I had a great time as well. Get home safe, okay? All right. After that night, nothing ever was the same again. Only a few weeks after my birthday, Marie brutally changed her attitude towards me and everything got much more complicated. She opposed to a lot of the details about the alimony, the divorce, delaying the judgment again and again, and she was being very wary of me. At that time, I was thinking that was all due to her having a new boyfriend. She had followed my advice, but it only made her more insecure. She had a good intuition about a good intuition about him. She had chosen a guy one day who had ghosted her, even though she was madly in love with him. Uh-oh, poor girl. She took comfort in the arms of the second guy, the quiet one, but once again, she was feeling down. Her new boyfriend was freshly divorced, and he knew the procedures. I was thinking at the time that he was the cause of Marie's change of heart. But he was giving her advice, or, maybe he was just being wary of me. A year passed, a year during which Marie became almost a stranger. She had put much distance between us. At the start of the summer of 2017, Marie suddenly told me that she was getting a new job and that she had resigned from the daycare center. She also told me that she needed to organize Theo's school transfer and find him a new nanny because he would have a new school schedule. That would mean someone looking after Theo a lot more than what we were used to, and it led to a violent quarrel between us. I had no say in this. Marie was only telling me what she had already decided, and I couldn't say anything on Theo's change of pace. We had agreed to meet in late August, before the class started again, to plan all these changes. It also corresponded to the end of Marie's training for her new job. Even if it was only late August, there was a piercing, cold announcing fall, and we had agreed to meet in a lively cafe that we both enjoyed. Marie didn't want us to meet at either one of our places anymore. Okay. How's your new job? Do you like it there? Oh, let's say I'm looking for other options. What does that mean? I'm overqualified and too smart in the eyes of the manager. He was starting to get jealous and worried that I'd end up taking his place, and that didn't go well. What do you mean, they didn't renew your contract after the trial period? Well, all things considered, that work was what I had first imagined. But Marie, you're jobless now, and knowing that you gave your resignation at the daycare center, I don't think you can have any unemployment benefit. You'll not have more than the alimony I give you. And how will you manage with Theo? You just made him transfer schools and hired a nanny for his so many hours. It's okay, stop freaking out. I'm trusting my judgment. And you should too. You should know that you can trust me. I'm gonna find something else easy. I'm not overreacting. I'm being realistic in a tough situation. Please see to it. Alright, I thought I lost my temper. I trust in your judgment. No, I'm gonna go. I'm not overreacting. Look, you'd better find something else soon. How much do you have at the moment? You'll be broke in no time, Marie. It's fine. If you're here to be aggressive, I'll just leave. I have the right to love my job too. That part-time job at the daycare center, I only took it because we were together. Combined with the alimony you're giving me, I barely had enough to live. I need to find something else. Okay, but you don't have to resign when you don't even know what to do next. There you had a job for the rest of your life. Are you ready to calm down, or shall I leave right now? I'm ready to walk in. I'm ready to talk. I'm here to talk and not argue, Sebastian. All right, then. I'm sorry. You should go see a social worker soon, as next week, however. And you need to check if you can't receive unemployment benefit from the government. Yes, I'll get that in mind. When did you stop working exactly? They terminated my work contract about 10 days ago. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I can handle my life on my own, I don't owe you an explanation. I know, Marie, but I get the impression that everything became complicated between us this past year. We don't have the same relationship that we used to. Is that because of your new boyfriend? You really want me to tell you? Yeah, please, I need to understand what's going on here. It's been a year since I took my treatment. Okay. I feel so alive since I stopped. I've become more independent. You had too much control over me with all these things. I had become soft and it wasn't fair. You were exploiting my weakness. And now I'm thinking much more clearly. You're thinking so much clearer that you're jobless now. How irresponsible of you. If you say so, then use these lucidity and independent to bounce back now. Yeah, I'm going to be positive here. Like you said, you trust your judgment, so I'm sure you'll manage on your own. It's none of my business anymore. I think I'm not ready to live with someone anymore because I'm considering that being independent is all that matters. Wow, you're really surprising me, Marie. Back when we were together, you were dreaming of having the perfect housewife's life, to dedicate yourself to art and to being with a big big happy family. Yes, but everything I went through made me reconsider. Now I think I need to feel good about myself, without needing to rely on anyone else. It's true that we had some good years. I've started to regret our former life lately. That's why I told myself I needed to move on. I was your first love, Sebastian, and we were very young. It was all it ever was, a young love. You were the love of my life, Marie, but of my first life. I think we are granted several lives, and then we're only starting our second one right now. Do you really believe that? That's because you play so many video games. Huh. Haha, well maybe so, but maybe being playful is also important to keep up with reality. In games, we learn from our failures and improve to do better the next time we play the game. So let's try and make the best of the second life and what we learn from our past mistakes. I can agree with that. So we can meet and talk about each other's progress regularly. Just like Tristan and Diablo, where the players are safe. They can rest for a while and think about their next objectives together. Deal. Let's go back for more adventures, each on a different path, and we will review the situation at the next encampment. And let's not forget to save our progression in order to retry if things go south afterwards. That's funny. I sense a soul in search of answers. Haha. Well, I'll see you in, I see you still know your classics. How could I ever forget? Diablo was really our game. That's true. Come on, let's order something before it's too late. I'm calling the waitress right now. Alright, well, it turned into a good talk. It looked like it wasn't going to go that well, but look at that, video game saved him. Sadly, the second date never came. And I would have loved to have saved my game that day and been able to go back knowing full well what would follow. What the hell is that? Looks like a brain in a pot. Sometimes there are memories so powerful that they carve their shape into some basic moments of daily life. And for the rest of your life, that very moment you will have the particular shape that will make it truly unique. Retrospectively, when I think about it, this memory might appear silly. But unfortunately, life can be silly at times. That day I made the resolution to get back in shape, to eat healthy, and to get back to the gym. I broke up with Lilith about 10 months ago, after a chaotic and painful relationship. Being alone had been particularly difficult to cope with, especially since I had been in a relationship since I was 20 years old. I just finally decided to try dating apps and websites. If it wasn't exactly a fulfilling experience. But on that fated 5th of September, as the school year started, I had decided to move on and to cheer up a little, beginning with healthier meals. It was almost 7 p.m., and I had just started to boil water to cook an artichoke, the promise of a bright future and a wholesome life. And well, that's when I heard the phone ring. Marie. It was Marie. I thought that she'd wanted to tell me about Theo's first day at his new school, and about his new nanny. Good evening, Marie. How's our little angel today? Sebastian, I feel exhausted. Now you'll have to come pick up Theo. Wait a minute, I don't understand. I'm cooking right now, and it's almost bedtime for Theo. Can't you fix him a quick dinner and put him to bed so he can rest afterward? Sebastian, I feel exhausted. You need to come pick up Theo, please. Uh-oh. I'm not your servant. You can manage on your own? Okay, just drive into my place then. I don't like the idea of her driving either. I'm gonna say you're not my servant because I don't want her driving. Listen, Marie, today's not the day I'm supposed to look after him, and if we start to put Theo in each other's care whenever we feel tired, there will be no end to that. I don't mind looking after him, just like, that time that you were really sick, but now it's almost his bedtime. You will manage, won't you? The nanny doesn't want to leave Theo to me. What? How come you're still at her place at this time of night? She keeps saying that it's your day, so you have to come pick him up. That's nonsense. I have never had Theo on Tuesdays. Didn't you give her our schedule? The nanny doesn't want to leave Theo in my care. Can I get the nanny on the phone so I can tell her today's actually your day? Sebastian, I'm so tired right now. The nanny doesn't want to leave Theo to me. Listen to me, I'm coming to the nanny's right now. Well, so much for dinner, right? And here we are. Poor kid. When I arrived, their Marie was crunching in tears, with Theo in her arms, in the nanny's courtyard. The nanny was staring at her from the doorway, not knowing what to do with her, and she was clearly freaked out. She told me that she didn't know what was happening. Marie had come there crying, and had stayed in that position for about 20 minutes. She never mentioned not leaving Theo to Marie. Marie had just picked up the phone and called me, and the nanny had to help her do that. Marie was looking for me in her contact list under the name husband. Even if we still weren't divorced, even if we weren't divorced at the time, my number was written under the name Sebastian. Huh, looking at her husband. Don't cry, Mommy. Everything's okay. Aww. What happened, Marie? Why are you making a scene in front of Theo? Everything's okay now, Marie. I'm here for you. I'll say that. Marie, please calm down. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm here now, okay? Oh, thank you, Sebastian. I'm exhausted. You need to rest, Mommy. Yes, baby. Mommy's going to rest now. Oh, man, this is sad. I love you so much, baby. And I love you too, Sebastian. Come with me. We're going to my place so you can tell me what's going on, okay? No, Sebastian. I just want to go home and get some rest. I just need sleep. Are you sure? I can drive you there if you want me to. No, Sebastian, I'm fine. Don't worry. Take good care of Theo, okay? She's basically saying goodbye. And this is sad. And what about tomorrow? On Wednesdays, he doesn't go to the nanny, but to the daycare center at school. They'll expect you to come pick him up at school. I'm running out of clothes for Theo at home. I'll need to come get some at your place at least. Don't worry, tomorrow's fine. I just need to get some rest. Mommy, you need sleep if you're tired. Come on, let's go. I'd rather not have Theo seeing this for too long. I'm gonna take him home with me. Man. The minute we reached home, I called Marie's parents to tell them I was really worried. An hour later, they came to my place to bring me some change of clothes for Theo and tell me that Marie had promised them to see a doctor in the morning, so they kind of already knew about it. And I didn't take much comfort in that. And here we are. Marie, I'm here to talk to you about Theo. Are you going to get him, or do I have to? And that's it. And we know what happened after that. You strayed from my path, and that sequence, 5 choices out of 12 were the same as mine. May 2018, spiral out, keep going, spiral out, keep going, spiral out, keep going. After the painful moments of the funeral, came the time to reorganize our everyday life. Finally, we established new routines, some of them helping us to move on. Our morning routine, Theo rushing in my bedroom, jumping on my bed to startle me. Our night routine, when I stayed by his side once the light had been turned off. And when he asked me to stay just a little bit more each time I was getting ready to let him go to sleep, 3 times every night. I had tried to escape a life that I was found too repetitive by breaking up with Marie. But today, these routines of our daily life were helping me move on. I needed to, and Theo was always here to remind me of that. However, I was having a hard time getting over one of these daily routines. It reminded me that I needed to try in every moment to build our present on the foundations of the past that will always be a part of us. Theo was frequently asking about his mom's passing, and the more time passed, the more his questions were detailed, and so were his worries about what death was. And one night I was forced to give him a better explanation than the one I was usually giving him, that Marie's heart had ceased to beat. Him worrying generally started with that sentence. Daddy, I'm sad that Mommy died. I love her so much. Aww. But Theo, you know your Mommy loved you very much too. And in the memories you have of her is what makes her exist in this world in the same way. Like I told you before, she still lies in your heart. But Daddy, my heart is heartbroken. Aww. Why do people have to die, Daddy? And Daddy, I don't want your heart to stop beating either. Don't worry, Theo. Daddy's still young, and my heart isn't even close to stopping today. But Daddy, Mommy was young too, and she died. Why did her heart stop then? Your mother was sick. She was bipolar, son. Will you catch it too? No, people don't catch it, Theo. They're born with it, and Daddy isn't sick. What does it do to people? It makes them very sad. Is that why Mommy's heart stopped? Because she was too sad? If I get too sad, will my heart stop too, Daddy? Aw, no, Theo. If her heart stopped beating, it's also because she decided so. Her disease made her heart stop. Come on, Theo, it's late now. You'll have to... Well, no, her disease made her heart stop, sure. It's not only because of the sadness she felt. You see, her disease made her suffer a great deal. And one day, she had suffered so much that her heart ceased to beat. But Daddy, she didn't have a treatment to cure her from what she had. She had, Theo. She used to take her medication and her health improved a lot. She thought at the time that she was cured, so she stopped taking her medication. But the illness was still there, and in the end, it took her away. Poor kid. The explanation I gave Theo made him think for a while, and for now he seemed satisfied with what I told him. But I thought to myself that one day he would learn one way or the other a much more cruder truth. How can I tell him before someone else would? And when would that be? In a way, it was actually Marie's illness that had led to her suicide. But could that explanation be enough for Theo? The kids from the village didn't talk about the case anymore, but I couldn't be sure that one day some of them wouldn't talk about the aspects of her event. And while I was having this internal conflict, Theo already found other questions about a topic that he was fascinated with. Daddy, can you tell me again about Teacup's story? The one where she became a pirate cat? Aw, of course, baby. And Daddy, don't you forget that it's thanks to the pirate ship at Mommy that Teacup was able to sell. Oh, I won't, baby. You're lucky. We're lucky you borrow it when you're at school. Otherwise, she couldn't have had a crew on her own. Poor Theo. Another routine that was really hard on me was recalling the facts and the events with each friend, relative, and acquaintance who wanted to understand her actions as well. But repetition had the advantage of making it easier to bear on an emotional level. Retelling the facts turned into an increasingly mechanical task. And after a while, I ended up talking about it, all of it, like a pupil repeating a lesson he had learnt by heart. Trying not to emotionally relate to the words that I was saying. Makes sense. I needed that in order to just move on with my life. Sometimes I would learn a thing or two about what she had become after our breakup, and that would help me understand a little bit better, but I still couldn't rationalize everything. But trying to understand her decision was necessary, if only to answer Theo's questions. The ones he asked today and the ones he'll ask tomorrow. These meetups with family and friends came to an end rather painfully when Marie's best friend told me she wanted to see me and talk about what had happened a few months after the funeral. I lived this moment like an epilogue with everything that happened, but an epilogue with an open ending with a lot of unanswered questions. Oh boy. We barely talked at Marie's funeral. At that time, everyone had been very supportive, but we were all grieving and we couldn't find the strength to talk about what had happened thoroughly. It took Emma more than 8 months to be able to talk about it, and I was the first that she wanted to talk to. So, how's Theo? He's still talking a lot about missing his mother, and he has so many questions. Other than that, he's really good. He's sad sometimes, but he's a rather joyous child, and his attitude mostly remained the same as before. He's very resourceful, and my mother and sister are taking good care of him. They're really great with him, and that helps me a lot as well. And the people from the village have been very kind. My colleagues too, they contributed a lot in giving me hope. Can't you go to a shrink with him? Let's just say that after the tragedy, we managed at seeing a shrink in a week after it happened. But when everything happened, there was no help from the public authorities. We were on our own. That's probably the fault of too little financial means to help people that are in need of mental help. Well, that's often the case. In individual problems, we often find ourselves alone. There must be a public dilemma covered by the media to get real support. The shrink that we had been seeing gave us poor advice. She had told me that Theo wasn't old enough to understand what death actually meant, and that telling him that his mom was gone would be good enough, at least to begin with. But I realized soon enough that he understands that something wasn't right, and that I needed to tell him the truth. Otherwise, it could be even worse. So at first I told myself that if things aren't going well, we could try to get over it together, and that I'd find a real professional to help us if I began to become overwhelmed with Theo. Talking about shrinks, did you know that Marie and I had the same one for a while? I saw him a few months back, and he wasn't aware of Marie's death. Really? How could that be? Well, let's just say Marie had stopped going to her sessions. She didn't get along with him at all. He had accepted to stop treating her in therapy as long as she promised to see someone else. She swore that she would, and never look for anyone else at all. But how could she even allow this, knowing that she was bipolar? Well, you see, things are going smoothly with me. That shrink has helped me a lot, and it's hard to find a solution in these cases. They are crawling under a mountain of patients. But I feel so guilty about it. I knew she had stopped taking her treatment, and I didn't know what she was supposed to take for the rest of her life. She told me that she went through depression and that she was feeling better. I didn't know that it was due to her illness. I should have known that things would only worsen. She almost gave me no sign of life during the summer, and I was on holidays. Damn. Come on, you can't blame yourself for what she did. There's so many things that could have influenced her. I think she chose the wrong boyfriend, too. She needed someone committed that would take good care of her. And the guy she was dating didn't want something like that. He had just divorced his own wife. Yeah, I know. She told me about the guy right before she started dating him. And at that time, I already had a bad feeling about them getting together. Well, even though they were seeing each other for more than a year, he only wanted to see her from time to time, without really committing. Well, I understand better now why she seemed to have given up on the idea of a perfect and happy family that she once had. I don't know if I should tell you this, but a few months before she died, Marie miscarried. Oh, shit. What? She didn't want the child she was bearing, but had finally decided to keep it. I told her she wouldn't manage it given the situation she was in, considering the fact that her boyfriend didn't even want them to have a family together. But after she miscarried, she seemed like she was moving on, and her having a boyfriend was better for her than to be left alone. That's why I felt so guilty about it. I should have been there for her when she was needing me so much. Well, how could you know? I mean, when I saw her a week before she died, she seemed so positive, even though she had just lost a job. She wasn't really well, and she was hiding it perfectly. Now she always wanted to look strong in your eyes, you know. You know what happened the day before she died? She called me in tears, and I don't know why. I don't know either. As I said, I barely heard from her. I only know that she was having appointments to get herself a job back in the days. I feel so miserable. I can't stop thinking about what would have happened if I had done something different. Listen, Emma, don't blame yourself. You couldn't have done anything more for her than you did. With everything that had happened, I'm not even sure that we could have changed anything, even if we had known. Oh, you're right, Sebastian. We can't know for sure. Damn. After the two of us parted ways, I really needed to get a drink. It was another of my routines that gradually started in my daily life, and that wasn't a good habit to be sure, even though it helped me move on at the time. But after Emma left, I too kept asking myself that same damn question. What if? What if? Telling myself that nothing could be done was tormenting me. It would be the same as saying that whatever had happened, she was forced to die on that day. Are the events of our lives so predetermined? Isn't there any room to escape our fate? Is there no way out other than death? But telling yourself that could have done something to telling yourself that we could have done something to prevent Marie from dying didn't bring me any joy. What should we have done? What to do with my regrets? How can I get over it? Maybe I should have been nicer to her, or tell her that everything would have been okay. One thing was for certain. I wouldn't find the solutions to my problems at the bottom of that bottle, and I preferred to just leave that bottle here. I had an uncle that slowly but steadily had drowned in the bottom of the bottles of red wine. I would rather not make the same mistakes that he did. Theo doesn't need an alcoholic father right now. That's very true. I mean, a lot of people run to alcohol to escape their problems or escape the hardships of life, whether it be a job loss or, a marriage that goes bad or a death in the family or whatever. And alcohol is never a good answer. Alcohol is never a good choice because you start relying on it to escape. So I can respect that he chose not to let alcohol take over, especially when he has a young boy to raise alone. Good for you, Sebastian. After so much emotion, I was needing some fresh air. Ah, sounds good. The birds. I was looking out at the scenery down my street at the fields where Marie and I had once walked. The conversation I had just had with Emma, the questions it raised, and all these considerations were mixing in my head. Was it really supposed to save her? What I knew for sure was that I couldn't keep living in the past, even if I needed to build Theo's future on such foundations. When suddenly, rays of light came piercing through the clouds, shining their light on two trees down below. Oh, that's weird. And at that very moment, listening to what nature was saying and beholding such a sight, I remembered the lines of one of the poems by Lord Tennyson. Nothing will die. The stream flows, the wind blows, the cloud fleets, and the heart beats. And there she is. Nothing will die. She lives on in our hearts, or in his heart. And there he is, Theo. In the game, 13 choices out of 27 were the same as mine. About half. The bip you might have heard when choosing meant that you made the same choice I did, okay? You can now try to unfold the story of my life, should you want to. Basically play again. He's a pirate. Theo now has become a real pirate. Huh. That's cool. Oh, there's him, and you successfully encountered the spirit of nature, and you successfully have avoided the shadows of regret. Good. We made good choices, even if we didn't choose all the choices that the author did. You didn't succeed in finding the happy end. Yeah, we avoid the dark end though, so I guess that's good, right? So we had it like in the middle of the ground. But there might have been a way to find it. Okay. There was a lot of choices to make there. And look at that, we got real pictures of Marie and Theo before she died. I mean, she's a pretty lady, it looks like, and he's definitely a good-looking kid. Thank you kindly for choosing to play this game of our life. Now, that kind of does make me curious, like what choices he made and how is he living now? Is he happy now? You know, because he said I didn't get the happy ending, and this is all based on real events and a real thing that happened to him. The way your heart beats makes all the difference in learning to live. You can learn more about Marie and Sebastian's story, and you can download the game prequel here for free. Keys of Game Space. That's cool. So I mean, this game's only like $5, guys. If you guys want to play this yourself and go and take over Sebastian's chaotic life there with Marie and see if you can get him that happy ending. I mean, this game's available on Steam. Definitely go download it, and I'm sure that the profits will, you know, help support him and his son, Theo. So, you know, the money's going to go to him, or 70% of the money or whatever will go to him. And, you know, I think it's very cool that he was able to take a negative situation in his life and a negative, you know, heartbreaking scene where his ex-wife kills herself, you know, while he's talking to her in this house, and he's able to take that and show the hardships and the pain he had to go through and how hard it was for their son to deal with, and how he talked to his son, and even give you, the player, options on what you can tell the boy and stuff like that. I think that's really, really cool, that he was able to take something so dismal and so depressing and so dark in his own life and turn it into a creation like this here on Steam, for other players to experience, for other players to, you know, to feel, maybe feel some of the emotions and stuff like that he felt, and kind of see some of the choices and some of the hard things he had to talk about, especially when Theo started asking questions, as we saw. That was really quite heart-wrenching, to be honest. So I like it, guys. Lie in my heart. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Be sure you let me know. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. This has been Zaxtorian99 with another live stream and another visual novel. This one based on real-life events of a ex-wife who committed suicide. So thanks so much. Let me know what you guys think. And this has been Zaxtorian99. Take care, everybody.